up? What's up? We back. We back in the building. You Can't Play Boxing Podcast, episode 31. You know, man, we reached a pinnacle. You know, we did our first 30 episodes. And making it the 30 episodes, you kind of start feeling, what your podcast should be and what you kind of have a vision for it. And, number one, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. We've been gaining listenership and listeners over the time period. I know I've been kind of infrequent with the episodes because boxing has been infrequent. But, I've been thinking about it. And, You Can't Play Boxing Podcast is going to always be a boxing podcast, number one. That's going to be the meat of it. But, just thinking about it, like, You Can't Play Boxing, it's basically a podcast. What I envision for the future, it's a podcast about boxing and bullshit. So, you're going to hear a lot of off-topic boxing things thrown in there. I may have a few people talking about different things. I may have people talking about relationships. I may have people talking about other sports, music. So, you'll get all of that in the podcast. So, I appreciate everybody who's been listening. But also I want to kind of give y'all, what's going to happen in the future. And you're going to see some videos coming out on our YouTube page. Also, check out our Instagram. We're going to be more tapped in with everybody and really, engage the audience a little bit more. So I want to thank everybody for rocking with me, who've been rocking with me. But also there's more to come. So yeah, I want to say that. So like I said before, check us out on our Instagram, which is You Can't Play Boxing. That's UCANTPLAYBOXING. Check us out on our Twitter. That's You Can't Play Boxing. That's at You Can't Play Boxing. Check out our website, which is can'tplayboxing.com. And check out our YouTube, which is You Can't Play Boxing. You'll find all the old episodes and also some of the new video content that's going to be dropping. So, man, everybody, first off, I want to have a moment of silence. It looks like we've been having moment of silences on back-to-back episodes, but I want to have a moment of silence for Chadwick Boseman, who passed away a couple of days ago. Moment of silence for him. Man, that was really, like everybody else, that was unexpected to hear about Chadwick Boseman passing away. We found out later that he'd been battling, colon cancer for 4 years. And, you think about it, he was battling colon cancer while shooting the biggest film of his life, Black Panther, a film that inspired millions and was a big film going into it because there was a lot of expectations. And to think about, sometimes we go through life and, most people, rightly so, if we would have had colon cancer and we got the biggest film of our life, some of us would have told ourselves, nah, I gotta, pull out of the role. I got colon cancer. But, for that man to say, you know what, I'm going to push through. I'm going to work out 2.5 hours a day doing shooting on top of the shooting. It tells you about willpower, man, and how strong he was. And, it's big for the boxing community because Chadwick Boseman, he was a big boxing fan. You've seen him at a lot of fights. There is numerous pictures, with him with different fighters, with, Bud Crawford, Michael Buffer, to say some of the few, he was at a lot of fights. So he was a big boxing fan, and he was fighting for his life the entire time. So, to kind of I guess what we should always take from is that don't never tell ourselves what we can't do. And I guess if we got a purpose, live with that purpose, you know what I'm saying? So give something back to the world, and you never know what comes back. So I want to, again, shout out to his family, condolences to his family. And it also tells you something that his family and the people close to him was ride or die, because you ain't hear nothing about his colon cancer the entire 4 years. And in the age of, social media and TMZ and all of that, like, it's normal for all that shit to come out, and it didn't come out. So in 2020, it is still possible, if you got some real people around you, to have privacy. So again, it's a big loss for the world, but let's celebrate what he did bring to the world. Man, so moving right along, last week also, we had a big hurricane come through Louisiana, which I got a lot of family in Louisiana. We had Hurricane Laura, and man, Hurricane Laura, dog, it was like a hurricane that took over the entire state for the most part. That thing swallowed, with Category 4 when it came on shore. Even made it to northern Louisiana as a Category 2, which is unheard of, because usually by the time it hit northern Louisiana, the hurricanes are pretty much like tropical depressions or tropical storms. So, Laura was a big hurricane. Think about almost 1 million people in Louisiana lost power. So, some people still don't have power. So, some people lost their homes. So I want to definitely, and if you can, donate to the right causes to get help to people. I'm a big believer in helping the community. I think we all have a responsibility and a duty to do that, because we never know when it's going to be our time. So give what you can, help out people, because, that's what makes the world go around. Whether donate to the Red Cross, I think I'll include that in the show notes. And again, if you don't believe in the Red Cross or whatever, that's fine too. Find a organization to give something to, whether it's $5, $10 or whatever you can spare. So I believe in that. So, shout out to everybody in Louisiana. Hold your head, get stronger. I know it's on top of the COVID, which hit me, because I know people that have died from COVID who in their 30s, and it's just unfathomable that people still think this disease isn't true. You know what I'm saying? It's a deadly disease, so it's a deadly virus. So don't take it lightly. So shout out to everybody in Louisiana. Man, moving into it, what we're going to do, we're going to take a quick break. But when we come back, man, we're going to talk about a few things that happened over the past couple weeks, because we haven't been here in a while. We're going to talk about Nas' new album. And we're going to talk about, what's the top 5 Nas albums that you guys have personally. Then we'll also get into the Povetkin versus Dillian White fight that happened last week, that ended in an enormous KO. Talk about the Postol versus Ramirez fight. And then we're going to, talk about some upcoming fights that we have on the horizon. So stay tuned for a minute. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be back in a second. What's up? It's that time of the show where we kind of give a shout out to our sponsors. The sponsor today is Anchor. Anchor is everything you need to create your own podcast. You can use Anchor to distribute your show. They'll kind of get it out for you. And all you have to do is do it from your cell phone or your microphone, however you want to do it. But if you want to get your voice out there, if you want to talk to the people, there's no better place to do it than Anchor. So download the app Anchor, or go to their website, anchor.com. It'll distribute your podcast on all platforms. So again, Anchor. What's up? We back. You Can't Play Boxing Podcast. We back with the second segment. Hope everybody got their little drink. And like I said before going into the break, man, we gonna talk about Nas' new album. So last week, man, Nas released the album that I wasn't expecting. I think he had been talking about it for since mid-August, but he didn't give us a lot of lead time, you know what I'm saying? But he released the album King's Disease, man, and album got 13 tracks. It's all produced by Hit Boy. Man, it's a damn good album, man. So I need everybody to check that out, especially if you're a true Nas fan. And just kind of as soon as you listen to the album, man, the intro track, King's Disease, man, it just grabs you. And Hit Boy did a phenomenal job, man, as far as the production and having a 2020 sound, but you get the foundation of a nostalgic New York City element, even though Hit Boy isn't from New York City. So for him to do that, man, it's phenomenal, So like I said, he started off the track with, the album King's Disease. That's a good solid track. But Blue Benz is so dope. Like, it sounds like it could be something that Primo did, you know what I'm saying? So Blue Benz is a standout joint on there. Then, they come up with Car 85, which features Charlie Wilson, which as far as commercial-wise, that could be one of the commercial singles on there. Good solid track when Nas talking about, his favorite car, doing nostalgic. Back in New York, they had the cars before the Ubers, you know what I'm saying? You would just have to call a car to drive you around, like a town car, you know what I'm saying? Dollar Vein, all that, you know what I'm saying? So Cardi 5 kind of have him, going back to those days and talking about his trips and, how that was a special time for him. Another standout joint on the album, man, is 27 Summers, you know what I'm saying? When I heard the title 27 Summers, I'm like, damn, I'm old. Nas has been around 27 years. That's crazy. You know what I'm saying? You never think about it like that. This man's been around 27 years, starting off with Halftime back in 92 off the Zebrahead soundtrack. If you haven't seen Zebrahead, that was one of the first songs that, one of the first albums, not even first album, tripping. First movies that we saw Michael Rappaport in, you know what I'm saying? So check that out, but that's the first song I heard Nas, me personally. I know he had stuff before that, Live at the Barbecue, but man, since 92 with Zebrahead, with Halftime, you know what I'm saying? And 27 Summers is straight to the point, gutter, you know what I'm saying, type rap. And it tripped me out because in the song, you talk about courtside Rockets Warriors Curry Up. And in February, you know what I'm saying, I went to see the Warriors and the Rockets out here in the Bay Area. Nas, he was at the game along with E40 was at the game. So he was talking about that game that I was actually at. So it was cool to see that. And speaking of that, I got a chance the next day. He had a concert out here in the Bay Area, which it was Nas and Wu-Tang. I think I talked about that concert in some of the previous episodes. Dope concert. It was right before COVID hit back in February. Nas did most of his classic songs, and even, since it was Wu-Tang, he brought Ray and Ghost out, so they did some of their classic joints like Eye for an Eye, verbal intercourse, to see that being done, in person, that was crazy. And then, it was just awesome to see that, because you're not gonna see them on the same concert at the same time and to perform that, and especially before COVID. So it just kind of has more weight right now. Another song that I like on there, I like my favorite song actually is the song he got with The Firm. He brought The Firm back, with Full Circle. And that joint is dope. AZ sound like he's still in 95. Like he's better than ever, So, man. And then I love the bonus track Spicy, man. 5-Year Form, man. I don't really listen to him too much, but matter of fact, I don't listen to him at all. I heard of him, but I never heard any songs. But he jumps on the track Aggressive, and I like it. So, man, all in all, King's Disease is definitely a 2 thumbs up. I would definitely listen to it, especially if you're a Nas fan, if you're just a fan of hip hop, period. Definitely check that out. Like I said, it's 2020 hip hop, but with the foundation being, New York or nostalgic Nas type shit. So check it out. And speaking of that, I was thinking about it, man. King's Disease is so dope. I was like, man, this is up there with one of, it's to me in the top 5 Nas albums. And being that Nas has had like 14 or 15 albums, I think we had, including like the, lost tapes, including like the stuff he had with Damian Marley and stuff. Matter of fact, how many albums has Nas had, man? I don't want to misspeak, but I think he's had about 14, 15, something like that. But anyway, I was thinking about like, since this is one of the dopest albums from Nas, where would I rank it? And to me, it's in his top 5. And just to back for a second, Nas has had 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Damn, 14 albums? 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, 12 albums. And if you include like The Firm and Distant Relatives with Damian Marley, it's 14 albums. So 12 solo albums. Where would I rank this one? To me, it's in the top 5. And I had to start thinking about all the Nas albums. So I'm gonna give y'all my personal top 5 Nas albums. Number 5 came out in 1999. It was his third album, I Am. Dope album. Standout cuts is New York State of Mind 2, Hate Me Now. Some more dope tracks, but that's my number 5 album when it comes to Nas. Number 4, I'm gonna put King's Disease. Came out 2020. That's crazy. So it's a 20-year gap. Awesome album. To me, standout cuts is Full Circle, Blue Benz, Spicy, dope album. Check it out, man. Like I said, go on your iTunes, go on your Apple Music, your Spotify, and listen to it. Number 3 came out in 1996. Nas' second album. It Was Written. Of course, y'all heard the big single off of there, If I Rule the World. Also, he has some dope-ass tracks. One of his most effortless tracks as far as flow-wise is Taken in Blood. I like Live Nigga Rap. Man, It Was Written is dope. Number 2, to me, it was his comeback album after a couple duds. with Nostradamus. He came back in 2001 with his one that he came at the king at that time was Jay-Z. He came out with Stillmatic, and from the intro to Ether to You're the Man to One Mic, shit, Stillmatic, man, it's dope. It's a dope ass album. And then number one is, of course, Illmatic, 10 tracks, produces Pete Rock, DJ Premier, Q-Tip, Large Professor, Got the World is Yours, Life's a Bitch. As you hear Memory Lane in the background. One of the top hip hop albums of all time, will always be that way. And to me, of course, it's kind of undisputed Nas' best album. So like I said, we got into the Nas talk. It's not a lot going on in boxing. So we know, like I said, you can't play a boxing podcast. It's going to be about boxing, but it's going to be boxing and bullshit. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to just talk about a lot of the things I want to talk about. Because if boxing isn't active, we got to stay active. We can't stop. So, but right now we about to start getting into the boxing, the little that we did have. So last week we had a big fight. It's, relatively big fight, especially one of the bigger fights we've had since quarantine. We had Dillian White fighting Alexander Povetkin. And Alexander Povetkin, both of them are top 10 in my heavyweight. I think Dillian White like number 6, Povetkin's like number 10. So this was a good scrap for the two heavyweights in the top 10. And this was a great fight. I was looking forward to it. It took place in Eddie Hearn's backyard, literally his backyard in England. And, in the first few rounds, Dillian White was doing what he had to do. Matter of fact, round 4, he knocked Alexander Povetkin down 2 times. And Dillian White, just to kind of backtrack, man, Dillian White was, as long as he won this fight, he was scheduled. He was a mandatory champion, mandatory challenger for the winner out of the Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury trilogy fight. So he was a WBC mandatory. He had it lined up. So, 4th round, he knocked Povetkin down twice. Povetkin looks like he out of there. He survives to the 5th round. And in the 5th round, man, that's why I said with heavyweight fights, man, you talking about 200-pound guys who not coming to play. Povetkin hit Dillian White with an uppercut that as soon as he hit him with that damn uppercut, it was no fucking discussion. It was done. He knocked Dillian White out, probably the KO of the year. And he won. I think Dillian White has an automatic rematch that he wants. And I can see him doing that. But he's at a crossroads. If he loses 2 in a row to Povetkin and they lost with Joshua, he's probably not going to be competing at the top level anymore. So this is going to be a huge fight with him. And for him to get knocked out the way that he does, it really tests your mental. So he needs to be skill-wise. He can compete with Povetkin, but Povetkin isn't a slouch, even though he's older. He's like 40 years old. But Dillian White definitely needs to tighten up, use his jab. If he uses his jab and be disciplined, he should definitely win. However, with boxing, your mental plays a part too. So he needs to tighten it up. So that was that fight. We also had Joe Smith. He beat Eliter Alvarez. That was a cool fight. And then this past weekend we had Victor Postol, man, fought Jose Ramirez in the 140-pound division. Ramirez won. It was a tough fight, close fight, but Ramirez won, kept the belts. I think he's on track to fight Josh Taylor. So I'm looking forward to that fight. You know, boxing's going to heat up a little bit. I'm looking forward to boxing heating up because we need to talk about more fights, have more action instead of just waiting. But I know it's kind of hard in this environment to have the big fights because, you know, the fighters, they don't want to fight at a discount because a loss is still a loss right now, no matter coronavirus or what. If you get a loss in your record, you diminishing your drawing power and your earning power. So they want to fight for the maximum amount of money, which I get. And with no fans right now, it's kind of hard to fight for the maximum amount of money. As you see, whether fans was there or not, Dillian White still got knocked the fuck out. It's not a practice fight. And, you know, if you're a fighter, you're thinking about, okay, if I'm going to get in that ring, I want to be paid accordingly. So hopefully, you know, with the coronavirus, I totally want to be safe because I know people personally who have died from this. So it's not nothing to play with. And people who are like 30 years old who have died from this. So it's something I'm not taking lightly. However, you know, hopefully we can get this virus under control and we can get to where we can have some, you know, fights upcoming. But that is secondary right now because human lives, we can't get a life back. You know what I'm saying? The people I know that died, they can't come back, you know. So it's just a sad situation, you know. But speaking of upcoming fights, on September 26th, we got Jamal Charlo versus Sergey Derevyanchenko for the WBC middleweight title. I think that fight's going to be on pay-per-view. I don't like it being on pay-per-view, but I understand because there's no money from fans you can get. So the only way we can show our support is by purchasing the pay-per-view. October 17th, we got a fight that I'm damn sure fucking looking forward to this fight. We got Vasily Lomachenko versus Teofimo Lopez Jr. for the WBO and the WBA and Lopez IBF titles. So 3 titles on the line. Man, this is going to be one of the better fights of the year, I think. I'm going to tell you my prediction as we get closer. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that fucking fight. The next week, we heating up even more. We got Tank Davis versus Santa Cruz for the lightweight title and the junior lightweight title in the WBA. Looking forward to that fight. It's another pay-per-view fight. And then the following month, we got Errol Spence versus Danny Garcia. Errol Spence Jr.'s first fight since having a car crash last fall. So I'm looking forward to see how he looks and see can he come back. So, like I said before, you know, You Can't Play Boxing podcast. You know, it's going to be a podcast strictly about boxing and bullshit. So we're going to talk about a lot of things. We're going to have guests coming on here. We're going to tap into things even more. You can check us out on our Instagram. That's You Can't Play Boxing. That's UCANTPLAYBOXING. You can also check us out on our Twitter. That's You Can't Play Boxing, at You Can't Play Boxing. Check us out on our YouTube page at You Can't Play Boxing. Our website, Can't Play Boxing. And like I said, we're going to have more videos, more things coming up. So, you know, until next time, y'all check in. Y'all stay tuned with each other. Stay safe out there, everybody. 2020 is a year that we just need to be focused, buckle down, be as safe as we can. And love who you love. Be close to your family. Till next time, y'all. Peace.